Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be trying to recreate the technique of this chair I am sitting on a brand new vintage desk chair that I bought at the Salvation Army. I bought this one for $5. I bought some pretty fabric and I'm going to see if I can cover it in the same style as this one. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I just want to see if I can do it, but also the chair that I bought, which I love, I don't begrudge the people who made it, it's not their fault that the chair is very squeaky. This chair, however, like, barely makes a sound, so very excited for that reason. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video, so stay tuned. So one of the first things I did was create the pattern pieces for this, which I didn't film, but I just used this crafts roll of paper from IKEA. I made all of my pattern pieces. I'm doing 4. I've got a seat piece, the back piece, and I'm doing the around the edge piece in 2 because of the way my fabric is. It's not long enough to do it all in one, but I'm just going to connect them in the back. So this is just a scrap piece of paper I have that I'm just going to use to demonstrate what I was saying. So this is obviously not large enough, but you'd use a piece large enough for your seat, and then you can just not do bumper cars along the edge. You just kind of squeeze on this piping to get sort of an indent. Another tip, you can see how I'm just keep flattening it, especially with that roll of paper. I just crumple the whole thing up and then it lays however you want it to lay, a little easier. Okay, so now I've got my pieces laid out on what is arguably a very tiny piece of fabric. That is the beauty of going to somewhere like Remainders, is that you get sort of a remnant of, you know, something vintage or cool or unique. But it is just barely enough, but it's gonna work, which is exciting. Next part of the job is to do our adhesive. So before I sew anything, I'm gonna put the adhesive on the fabric and then sew it with the adhesive on. So I bought this as suggested by, actually it was suggested by the people at Remainders. They didn't have any, but I bought it at Joann's. Heat and bond. And I also already did a tiny tester, so I know it'll work. Okay, that's gone. Put that over here. So I've got the right side facing up and the adhesive on the opposite side, and then you just iron it on, and that's all. You do it the paper side facing up because then you'll peel it off when you're done. So next I just pinned the side piece to the top, still keeping the adhesive paper on there, and I did this on the actual seat. So next I have to sew it. And I sewed my 2 side pieces together. I did a little kind of a ripple here. I might actually do it more like a dart, but just enough to curve the sides. Oh. Are you going to the doctor?
I just quit exercising forever.
Okay. I guess that exercise dress is just for fashion.
What's that?
Fashion dress now instead of exercise.
Yeah. Everybody will think I'm, 40.
Well, perception is health. I'm on the floor in my room and I just unscrewed my chair because I was like, I have to unscrew this to tuck in the edges of the fabric and then screw it back together, which seemed fine. And I got the back piece just fine, so I would just put the fabric over it, and then there's like a metal back plate that screws back onto here with the fabric tucked in right there. So that all went fine. Upon removing the seat from the actual apparatus of the chair, we've got foam dust, which I dealt with in my bench video, the mid-cinch bench. If you haven't watched it, go ahead. When foam in a furniture disintegrates. It's pretty nasty. It's the most disgusting event in history. I think I have to remove the foam and get new, which is annoying, but I'm glad I know about it now. So you can see it all coming out, these holes, and a little pile on the ground. There's some screws, and there's the chair. I noticed it first on this little, and I was like, is that sawdust or is it foam dust? And then it, you know, more of it came out and it became very clear. So I just kind of got it down on the ground and I've been unscrewing it right here and taking it apart. And I found out that this chair belonged to, I believe that says Ruth. So this is Ruth's chair. How cute. I can't find my staple remover tool, so I'm just gonna cut around the vinyl and the fabric. Use my sewing scissors. Definitely do this outside because of all the cheese dust. I'm gonna do this in a time lapse. I just finished cutting the foam, and I actually used one of those turkey cutters, like electric ones, to do that. So the foam is cut, but it's green, as you can see, and my fabric is kind of sheer, so I didn't want to see the green through the fabric. So I'm gonna put a piece of, you can use like t-shirt, but this is actually sweatshirt, so it's almost like batting. I'm gonna put that on top between the fabric and the foam so that you don't see the green there. Okay, I went and got a kettlebell to weigh it down while the glue dries. So again, just I'm gonna use some average wood glue. I've never actually glued foam to the furniture before. In most of my projects, I just don't. But since this was glued previously, I thought I probably should. Carry on the tradition. See, it's like literally not even touching the glue right now. That's good. I've covered in tape anywhere I don't want the paint to go. So now we're ready to paint. The cats have vacated the chair just long enough for me to do the next step, which is to iron the fabric to the foam using an iron. It has the adhesive. I already showed that part where I ironed the adhesive to the fabric, and now you peel off the underside paper, which I already did, and then put it on, iron it to your thing. All right. Now, I think I need a piece of fabric to put between this and the iron because I'm scared. I've seen this iron stain things before, so I'm gonna get that, and then we're gonna go. Okay, I've got a piece of a sheet piece that I have used for other things. Ooh, I can tuck it under to make it like nice and flat. Okay, I like that. If you've never played Rummy Cube, I recommend. Okay, I've propped it up here so I can do this front nicely. This is important. It's kind of like, it's, you know, it's what you see. Hey, that's nice. I've ironed the top, which is the most important part, and then there's a little bit of puckering around the edges. on the top, so I'm going to pull it tight and staple it and then iron the side. So now it's all pulled and stapled, and I'm going to just iron the sides. So I've ironed everything, so now it's gonna be time to put the metal plate back on the bottom. So I marked where our screw holes are for that. So I'm gonna go and poke them before I go with my screwdriver. It's just gonna make it easier to get the screw through the fabrics.
This is a lot more than you thought I would be doing this.
No,
No?
it's pretty rag. I've done chairs before. I'm a chair spurt. Yay! I removed all the painter's tape from where I didn't want the spray paint to get, and I was so pleased with how the shiny chrome came through, and it still looked really distressed and vintage, so I think that really keeps the integrity of the chair and adds a lot of dimension to what could have been a kind of flat metallic color. Looks so good! So the top part of this chair was a bit of a journey. I actually ironed it the same way I did the seat at first, but that didn't really work. So then I decided to sort of just glue it and let it be loose over top, but then it wasn't really laying very smoothly. So I did end up gluing this whole thing and then ungluing it and adding batting underneath. So if you see my pictures on Instagram of this chair, that is the version you're going to see that has some batting underneath the fabric, between the fabric and the vinyl, because as you can see here, it just never got very smooth. I was so glad to replace the Ruth label on the chair once I was done spray painting. It all came out very nicely, so happy to glue her back in her proper place. Hi, Plum. You gonna help? Would you help me? You have a minute?
Yeah. What do you need?
Just hold this up. No, not like that.
What?
With your hand.
Here, see?
Ow. Sit on it backwards like a teacher.
Let's wrap.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that one was easier. This one.
How?
You don't know. But I tried it upside down and it was fully like the wrong shape.
Yeah, no, that like, here, starts going.
Okay. Alright. What do we figure out? That it's
Curves
the curve.
have to be against each other, otherwise
Yeah.
they don't quite match up because of the angle of the screws are
Yeah.
going in.
So we had to tighten one side all the way up
Right, now it's...
before the other ones go.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, put the roof sticker here. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, here's what it looked like before, and here is the final product. I am so happy with how it turned out. It looks so cute with my desk. There's a little roof, and here's some close-ups because I feel like I barely even showed off this fabric, but it's so sweet. It's kind of 80s, but like in a sweet way.
Here's the final chair. I want you to be able to see it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thanks. Bye.